in many halachos and mitzvos that we find in Parshas Mishpatim, the Torah tells us, Kol almana v'yasom lo sa'anon. You can't afflict the widow, the orphan. Imanei sa'anei so, if you do it, ki im tza'ok yitzak alai, and then as a result they call out to me, says Hashem, Shamo eshma tzaka so. I'm going to give them v'charapi, I'll be upset. Something unique and something special and powerful about the Tefillah of the Almanah and the Yasom. We actually find something very similar a few psukim later. Torah tells us that im kesef taves ha'miyas ha'niyamach, if you have the poor person who is lacking, who needs money, and you lend with ribis, and then tells us if you take a collateral and you don't return it, b'mei yishkav, and he has nothing to sleep in, v'yaki tzaki lai, if he turns to me, v'shamati, and I will listen, ki chanun ani, because I am gracious and hear their words. What's unique? What's special? What's so powerful about the Tefillah of the Almanah, about the Tefillah of the Yasa, and the Tefillah of the Ani? But Pinchas explains that it is not inherently that their Tefillah is more powerful, but it's that the situation in which they find themselves, Rahman al-Atzlan, unfortunately, allows them to understand that the depth of Tefillah, and where Tefillah is supposed to come from, is a sense of Ein Lanu Amila Hisha'ain, Elo Lavina Shabashamayim. There's nobody else that we can rely on except for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. They realize they have nobody else to turn to, and therefore with emunah and feeling and heart, they come closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and that is the most powerful form of Tefillah. For somebody who has somebody else to rely on, who has somebody else who's supporting them, or somebody else who's helping them, we don't always feel in the same way that it's really the Ribono Shel Olam. Whatever anybody else is doing, it's in the realm of hishtadlus, it's in the realm of things that we have to do, you have to try. But the end of the day, our tefillah should be no different. Because there's somebody else who is helping us, it's still in the hands of the Ribono Shel Olam, whether we are going to succeed and what is going to happen. And the truth is, if you look at Rashi, on Kol Almana v'Yasom lo Sanun, Rashi is bothered. What's the question? And anybody else, you're allowed to afflict them? You're allowed to bother somebody else? You're allowed to do things to other people? What does Rashi say? He says, Kol Almana v'Yasom lo Sanun, Hu hadin lechol adam. It's true by everybody. The Torah speaks about the prevalent situation. They're more downtrodden and people tend to not be as nice to them. Rashi is, I think, trying to get to this very same point. That the same way that you're not allowed to be ma'ana them, you're not allowed to afflict them, the second part of the pasuk is true as well. Anybody has the power of tefillah that the yosam or the ani have. But it requires understanding what tefillah should be. We don't look to put ourselves into difficult situations into which we feel that Ein Lanu Amila Hisha'ain because we have no choice. The avodah and the challenge is to feel when we daven. That way, even if there are other people, even if Baruch Hashem, things are okay, we still understand Ein Lanu Amila Hisha'ain, we have nobody else to rely on. Our tefillah and our success and what's going to happen in our lives comes from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And it's a different type of tefillah. The last few months, we've probably had those moments where we do feel completely helpless, and we can tap into this koach and tap into this power. And the challenge is to keep it going. It's not about the strength of our army and their leaders and whoever else, or what we can do. That's part of it. That's part of the hishtadlus. But our tefillos can't wane. They can't become any weaker. We have to double down, understand the power, the koach of tefillah. The power of tefillah, as Rav Pinchas has taught us, is that something when we feel, when we turn to HaKadosh Baruch Hu in this pure way, understanding that this is the only way that we're going to succeed. Those are the tefillos where we hope that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to say, Shamoa eshma tzakaso. I'm going to hear his cries, I'm going to hear his tefillos, and grant whatever it is that we desire.